The other interesting subjects of the week. To do that, we are joined again by Barna Donovan, Professor of Media Studies at St. Peter's University. Also sticking around is Paul Levinson, Professor of Media Studies at Fordham University, and from the city of New York, we have our good friend, Mr. Arrendondo. Welcome again, all of you. Okay, this is, you probably don't know the subject, so we're just going to throw them at you, and we'll see. No, you're cheating because you're looking down, and don't do that.
Okay, I won't. Right.
Let's discuss, first of all, the season finale of the 2.5 Men series. The series finale, I should say. Any of you fans?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Well, this is going to be a real short discussion. Well, you know, of course, that Charlie Sheen, the controversy surrounding all of that, and he was brought back, or they were going to bring him back at the end, and it really didn't happen. They did that apparently to get ratings for the season finale. Why weren't you fans?
I'm a Scrooge when it comes to comedies. I mean, life is too short. Not that I don't like laughing, but I like laughing about real things. When I watch television, I tend to watch dramas.
So you've never seen it?
I've never seen it. I've heard about it. The only comedy I like now is Curb Your Enthusiasm, which hasn't been on for a couple of years.
How about you, Barna?
Since Seinfeld, sitcoms just don't do it for me. Hour-long dramas and science fiction, million things on the Sci-Fi Channel. Those are just my cup of tea.
Banner Arrendondo, save us.
Friends was the last of the great sitcoms to me. Anyway, I didn't like the way it taught a whole generation of young men to behave, and that's the reason I didn't like it.
Okay, well, as I promised, it would be a short discussion, and it's done. Let's go on to the next thing, and that is, can we talk about Saturday Night Live? Eddie Murphy on the show. They asked him, would you reprise your Bill Cosby impression? Of course, Bill Cosby being accused by a lot of women of drugging them and so on and so forth. And Eddie Murphy said, no, hey, I'm not going to kick a guy when he's down.
Well, first of all, I thought the 3-hour or 3.5-hour presentation was a masterpiece. There were all kinds of wonderful things. It was one of the best Saturday Night Lives I've ever seen in terms of the current content. This is a tough issue. I don't blame Eddie Murphy for not wanting to do that. Frankly, I don't even know if it was the right thing to do for the SNL writers to write that skit.
And Kenan Thompson jumped in and imitated Cosby in his place.
Yeah.
You make a very good point. Is it, I can't see an Eddie Murphy of 20 years ago not doing it. Is he more mature now, and maybe Bill Cosby was one of his mentors and friends, and
I think that's
I'm just not going to do that? Or if he was just starting out, would he take a shot at it because it's top-of-mind awareness?
Well, this is an interesting question, because suddenly I want to put on my media ethics professor hat.
Oh, please don't. We just talked about 2.5 Men.
This makes me ask, do stand-up comedians like reporters have some kind of an obligation to take on the big issues of the day that a reporter would need to talk about this as a comedian? You know, Jon Stewart makes, or comedians like him make fun of the big issues of the day, so are we expecting Eddie Murphy to that? Hey, Eddie, this is the big issue of the day. Do you, are we expecting him just naturally to take this on?
Well, you make a good point. Joan Rivers said the role of a comedian is to find that line and cross over it. Isn't he fair game? Most comedians made fun of him.
Yeah, I think he's definitely fair game, and I don't, fault SNL for coming up with this skit. I do think Eddie Murphy was out of respect for Bill Cosby as a mentor. That he didn't accept that role. And also, Eddie Murphy's general appearance was pretty tame, and probably a very disappointing moment in this show.
You didn't think he was funny, is what you're saying?
I thought he was, I thought he could have been fun. I would have loved to have seen him do something of his old acts.
He could do a fantastic
Bill
James Brown, too.
Yes, that was
James Brown.
That's right. That was really my point. I mean, there were almost an endless number of things that Eddie Murphy could have brilliantly done, and he probably would have done a great job in the Cosby role.
He looked a little nervous. He looked a little,
I would agree. I think they wasted him in that short period of time, and to a certain degree, Chevy Chase, although you wouldn't find a gentleman that old falling down a staircase, but I mean, they did sort of waste him.
Well, I saw Chevy Chase being interviewed on the red carpet before, and he could barely speak.
Right, I was going to say that.
And so when he came on stage, I expected not a good moment.
I don't, just to digress for a moment, I didn't think he looked well.
He didn't.
And I hope he's not ill, but he didn't look well.
He looked very bloated.
He was barely coherent in the red carpet interview.
Yeah. Let's switch gears. A lot of people making fun of Brian Williams. As you know, he's been suspended for 6 months with no pay for apparently embellishing stories of his activity in Iraq and elsewhere, and also during coverage of Katrina. Bill O'Reilly attacked as well by some of the left-wing media, saying that he embellished his coverage of the Falkland Islands War. and he had a scathing rebuttal on Fox this week with memos and supporting information that what he said was accurate. Are anchor people free to be attacked now? Is it everybody being questioned about their integrity?
Everyone's about to be
you think
looked
so?
at. Yeah, I think every major player.
Rightfully so. I'm sure there were anchors along the way that sort of embellished a story here or there.
Well, you know, it should.
This comes up once every decade. It came up with Dan Rather.
Yes.
It came up a little earlier, not with an anchor, but with Jason Blair at the New York Times, who still is the high watermark of journalistic outrage in terms of what he did. So look, it's not surprising when you're out there delivering the truth. This gets back again to documentaries and truth. The public has a right to expect that anything and everything that comes out of your mouth is nothing short of 100% true.
Well, Barna, do we hold anchor people and reporters to a higher level?
We do. I think we should.
Even in this day and age where we have fake news, and I don't mean the major networks, but ET and Inside Edition and so on, where people are masquerading as news people.
Sure, I think we should. I mean, there are news organizations that have rules like the reporters are not allowed to put a bumper sticker on their car supporting some cause. I mean, at one point I saw a car and somebody has the sticker on there, "I don't trust the liberal media." I'm sure there are probably liberal versions of that too, but because you have a lot of people who don't trust the news. And I think that's why we need to hold journalists to a very high standard, you know, so that we have more of a trust developing between the public and journalism.
Even in this celebrity society, Ben?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's definitely a different. I mean, there's definitely a line that's been crossed, and it's a little gray. But I think there's, you know, at this level.
We're all in the New York metropolitan area. I woke up the other day and it was 2 degrees where I was. Some people further north said it was 0. I don't remember a winter as bad as this one. We have the Hudson and East Rivers in the New York metropolitan area freezing up. Niagara Falls, of all places, ice along Niagara Falls. What, you know, you might say it's global warming, which is a misnomer because it's actually climate change, but what is going on here? You're professors, you should be on the front lines of this as well.
I'm not a climatologist, but just, you know, I know something about social and cultural history. The fact of the matter is, what's going on is the long-range view. You know, there was an ice age, the ice age receded, there was another ice age. If you look back far enough, you see that what we are accustomed to as a more temperate climb is really a transitory phase.
So you're saying it's not man-made?
Well, maybe we contributed something to it, but right, it's forces stronger than human beings that are doing this. It is natural changes in the environment.
Barney, your media studies, I'm sure you've read a lot about this stuff. You must have an opinion.
Yeah, I think Paul is close to the point. Again, I'm not a climatologist either, and I have seen some old photos of Niagara Falls being frozen like this. But then again, I also read about how something like 97% of climate scientists are saying that we are having an impact on the environment. So I'll leave more commentary on that too.
Well, let's go to our scientist, Ben. Ben, what do you think?
It's even going to be less than that. I am not a. Well, I'm just not a fan of cold weather to begin with. I'm from South Texas.
Well,
this is not.
I'm with you on that. I think 70, 80% of the people
I don't know.
are fans.
I feel like last winter was really hardcore winter.
54 inches of snow last year.
Yeah, I mean a lot of snowstorms, a lot of blizzards.
But this year we've had this really cold weather, stinging cold weather.
Well, here's a secret. I'm a professor, and one thing I do like about the snow is when classes are canceled. I'm no different than
So you're looking for a
students.
day off, is what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take it.
All right, real fast. You know, you saw the video of Wheel of Fortune not too long ago, where it was one letter, outstanding, and the gentleman couldn't get the answer right. We have the reverse of this. Wheel of Fortune this week, there's only one letter exposed, and he got it. Now, you would say off the bat, well, this guy must be cheating, but it was one letter, a T, and he got championship match. You're around students a lot, both of you. Do we have that brain power to pull it off so quickly?
Well, it's also luck, you know. So absent any evidence that there was cheating going on, I'll take it as just incredibly good luck.
Probably just a stroke of luck, unless maybe he has some psychic powers or has some time warp kind of seeing forward into the future.
And you have students that play Scrabble as well, and that game drives me nuts. It hurts my head, but a lot of people play Scrabble.
Yeah. I think it was luck as well. You know, I don't think there was any cheating. I think that would have been noticed.
So we're all going on the record now that there was no cheating.
Yeah.
As far as we know, yeah.
Listen, do we have time for one more? Should we do one more? All right, let's discuss the Westminster Dog Show. A beagle has won again. Now, a beagle is a household pet. A lot of people have beagles. I have a Yorkie. German Shepherds are popular, our Labrador retrievers and so on. But the beagle wins again. Is this a win for the common man, the common dog?
Because I was always under the impression it was always a fancy dog that
Yes,
won.
with the tail, with the puff
Yeah.
at the end. And
I don't pay much
Yeah.
attention to it, but I did see a segment on the beagle, and I thought, wow, that's unusual for me.
You're squeezing his ears right now, and you could hardly see his face.
The beagle's a lovable dog.
They certainly
and
are.
so great.
But
Let's have a lovable
you don't think of
dog
a
win.
beagle as a
No,
dog
I
that
know,
will
but
win?
I'm not a
it's
fan
not a
of these
regal dog to
standoffish,
me.
Well,
aristocratic
Snoopy
dogs.
is a beagle, right? So Snoopy winning, we have to love that.
I didn't think of that. You know, Snoopy is a beagle, so I guess Snoopy did win this one. And generally, in between these wins, you have this dog that is a poodle or some breed you never heard of,
That's
and
right.
Yeah.
and brushed to the hilt.
A shiatsu.
Yeah, a Shih Tzu or
However it's pronounced.
and you know, a Yorkie or something like that. But here's the beagle. We're seeing it on your screen now. This is a dog you can find in just about millions of homes probably in America, and I think it's a win for the beagle. I guess if he could put his paw up, he would put the paw up and went for a beagle.
I like what you said, a win for the common man.
It's a win for the common dog, Ben. I think that's really what it is. Listen, we want to thank everybody for stopping by, and I have to wish our friends a happy Chinese New Year. It's been written phonetically for me. Gong Hei Fat Choi to all our friends out there. It's the year of the sheep, I am told. We thank you very much. Gentlemen, thank you for being on Fresh Outlook. And until next time, I'm Frank Cipolla. Thank you. Have a nice week.